Do you believe that you are a creative, but you feel like your body is stuck? In this video, I wanted to share just like my recent realizations and overall lessons that I've learned since I've been trying to get back on my creative journey, and it is still in the process for me. But here is my current journal, and it's been giving me a lot of epiphanies lately. I am currently on day... Let me look up how many days it's been. Days since February 13, 20. That was the day that I like committed. Alright, so it has been, I don't know if you could see, it has been 1,095 days since I began journaling consistently. And I had joined this 21-day journal by Joe Franco. I could link it below as well. But it was really to unclog my body of being blocked. I knew that I wanted to have a better life, but I was trying my best. I'm an overachiever, but I just kept hitting blocks. And, ever since being diagnosed with lung cancer at age 28, I just couldn't help but ask God, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I'm trying here, and I know that I exist in a capitalist nation and capitalist reality right now. I was just looking for something that could actually help me out. And I know from like listening to YouTube videos and inspirational messages for the past 10 years, a pattern that I've noticed is that people, especially people who come from poverty or first gen, that have made the impossible actually happen in their life is by having a journal. So I'm a person who does not have a lot of resources. My mom passed when I was 27, but my parents also were not able to help me out in college. Not even $1, y'all, towards the tuition. I felt like I was like alone and doing things on my own, the first gen story. And eventually exhaustion caught up to me, and of course illness. But what I'm trying to get to is that I still hold out the hope that even though you are under-resourced, what I have learned now, right, with my Christian faith is that God is a resource, but then it expands beyond that. I have also learned that our ancestors have a different type of wealth, and especially if you are a person of color living in the United States or anywhere around the world. Let me try and practice. Not really person of color, but like a person who is a part of the global majority. You have an amount of wealth that maybe the current reality we live in will show you that it's been exploited, that you live in poverty. But then to rewrite that narrative, you have to remember your ancestors, how much wisdom they actually have and had, and how much wealth they had. And all of this to say is that the education system and the systems we have been a part of, at least I have been a part of, got us all fucked up. Okay, I grew up thinking, okay, the Philippines is a poor place. It's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, but everybody was just saying like, we're gonna go to the United States for a better life. And then I just had this point of view that yes, while my country, the Philippines, is rich in resources, there was no way that my family could put food on the table, or how hard it was and stressful. That is the message I grew up in. And I think that it impacted me, especially like when I traveled to, I remember when I studied abroad, there was an old white grandpa on the boat, and he's like, you're from the Philippines, like your country is so dirty. So it's just like those inundating messages all the time. But now, at 33 years old, I realized, no, these narratives need to be changed within us. You know what I mean? So if you are still vibing with this message or just these realizations, understand that your wealth doesn't come from a source of your identity in a way that has been portrayed in textbooks or the media, right? Also another like societal layer was like coming from a broken family. I always felt like we were poor and like, you know, always deficient. But now I see myself as I am a descendant of the peoples who are extremely smart, extremely knowledgeable, hard workers in their own ways. In my Christian faith, I know that I'm the daughter of God, but you need that little kick, y'all, especially if you're of the global majority. I believe that my ancestors have called me in this time and space in 2026 to deliver this message to you. It's that I know you have also been called in this time and space to awaken something in others. But how are we going to do that, y'all, if we're creatively blocked, right? If we are on survival mode. I will not blame you for being in survival mode because we got bills to pay. But it's like, how do we start unraveling our minds from the systems that we are constantly a part of? And sometimes we may feel like we don't have a choice, right? Anyways, my answer will always be journaling. If you're overwhelmed in life, feel lost, or you don't feel lost, maybe you have a good job, but like, you know, you're not perfectly aligned. First point is like, how do you even journal? So the thing is, it's important to have intentions. And a realization that I've had is, what I would simply ask, what is your relationship to writing in a journal? Please write that down and reflect on it, because my previous relationship with a journal was that it was like a dumpster fire where I could like vent and like say all of my life's woes and like sad story, and then I would be done journaling. Like, okay, like that feels good, but then I'm done journaling and just like leave it there in a corner, never to be seen until the next hysteria comes in my life. And I've realized that no, while it is good for venting, I'm still venting to this every day. It has also become a playground of imagination for me. Sometimes I'll ask my journal, like, is it okay to vent? And then I'll just vent. But I have also been intentional with daydreaming. One of the things that our systems do to us, I'm speaking from the perspective of living in the United States, is that it takes away our imagination. And when our imagination is not intact, we lose connection to our body and our intuition. So please write down, what dreams and visions do you have? Like, what are dreams and visions you believe you have, but it's not quite reality yet? And I know maybe if you're an overachiever, you have a dream, you have achieved things, but I truly believe that our dreams have constant download, right? It constantly expands. And for example, I have dreams of, now that I've gotten in this part of life, now that I've become Dr. Lucas officially, how do I expand myself so that I can better serve my own actual community? And another prompt is going to be, please write a very fond memory from your childhood. Think of a very, very, very happy memory full of joy from childhood. Take yourself back there and write it in as much detail as possible. I know that being a part of the global majority, having survived colonization, imperialism, racism, we can tend to think a lot about what we have survived and continuously have to survive. But it's so important to really get back in touch with our childlike self and tap in. Our childlike self has so much wisdom. They will redirect you in the right place, because now you are an adult that could protect that inner child, right? But now you're also the ancestor. So please take the time to write about a very joyful time in your childhood. If you need to pause this video, please go ahead and do so. And the next prompt is going to be, what are the gifts and talents you believe and know that you have? This is not about bragging. This is about what you have inherited. What are the gifts and talents that you have? And maybe these are things that other people have told you. Have you made them feel calm after talking to them? Is your presence something that's very calming and like a medicine to them? Are you really funny? Are you able to lighten up the mood in every room that you're a part of? Are you a good speaker, perhaps, right? There's these extraordinary things that we're handed, and sometimes we can tend to downplay it. I know I am still guilty of this, even today. So I gotta actually reflect on that. It's something I make my students do all the time, but even just like saying this out loud, it can also be rewritten as, what are the ancestral gifts and talents you have been given that you know are unique to you? I gotta write that down. 1 second. Okay. Next prompt is, who is on this journey with you? Think about the biggest cheerleaders in your life. This could be people who are alive or folks who have already passed. For example, my mom passed 6 years ago, but she's definitely still on this journey with me. Right before recording this video, I felt my mom's presence. My grandfather on my mom's side, my grandmother on on my dad's side and my grandma's side. A lot of these messages I'm delivering to you, they actually told me to get up and record. So yeah, who is on this journey with you, and who are your biggest cheerleaders? And another layer of that is, in what way Okay, so who is on this journey with you? Who are your biggest cheerleaders? And in what ways can you only surround yourself with the positive messages of the cheerleaders in your life? Whether it's making an audit, like, are you only surrounding yourself in your life with your cheerleaders? For example, what I've done is on Instagram, I have a close friends list, and they're literally who I've been communicating with. I'm going on my 3rd month, and it's just been so transformational for me not to have double thoughts of what people might think. Because I know that I'm in this journey of, like, I'm in my caterpillar mode right now, right? I'm still transforming and processing my own thoughts. So that's another part of doing your life audit. Okay, next one is, what or when do you feel like you're in your element? This could be environment and a time. Okay, so what or when do you feel like you are in your element? For example, envision the country that you feel at home in, or maybe you're a traveler. It could be multiple countries. For example, I've been to El Salvador. I feel like I'm really in my element there. Like, there's something about that place and speaking Spanish there that, I'm a different, joyful person there. Same thing with Costa Rica, but the elevation and frequency I feel in El Salvador is something else. I've also felt it in my homeland, in my country, in the Philippines, with my grand return that I had in November. So, where do you feel like you're most in your element and aligned with your best self, your most joyful, but also full of wisdom self? Another aspect is, I swear I need to do a slideshow for y'all for this. Everything that you're hearing from me is a download from the ancestors, because it came on this video and I was like, let me talk to them about journaling and like unclogging. But I can feel myself. I am surrounded by my ancestors. So here's my message to you. So another part of this prompt is, when you envision that you are in your element, what are you doing? Are you singing? Are you playing games? Not, I don't know, video games, but like, are you playing games or like community? Maybe video games. It's just something that I don't understand. But for me, my example would be when I'm speaking in front of a large group, especially when I see people of like 500 and 600, I know that I could speak to that crowd and I can black out in a way where I could tell a story, a very compelling story, and deliver a message that I was brought there to do. I am in my element when I'm doing public speaking. And hopefully I'm also honing to have my element here when I'm speaking in front of the camera. But I know that when I'm giving workshops, I'm in my element. When I speak in front of a crowd, I can tell a story and have a standing ovation. Like, I've seen it. Before I used to doubt myself, but after I've seen it countless times, I was like, I'm not going to doubt myself for the sake of shrinking, but this is a gift that I need to steward well. Because what? Like, that's not normal. Like, how could I just tell a story and they're all standing up? Like, really? But in all honesty, I know that that's a part of my element, and I need to remember those moments because my ancestors and God have placed me in those rooms, and it's not something that I could take for granted or just ignore, right? Okay. Hoo hoo hoo. Okay. This next question, I promise this is productive. If you're a woman watching this, anger and rage is productive and we need to process it. Don't be like, oh, I'm not angry about anything, okay? This is a part where you can be honest because you are writing in your journal and this is only for you to see. So my question is, what are your biggest blocks right now getting in the way of your creativity and your imagination? What are your current angers and frustrations about life? Okay, I'm going to repeat that. What are your current biggest blockers and getting in the way of your creativity? And what are your current angers and frustrations? Okay. Okay. Please pause if you're still writing. I'm going to dive into this one. It's this last prompt, right? What are your biggest blockers, anger, and frustrations? And I ask this because rage, anger, and frustration are very, very powerful emotions. And if we don't let it out of our body, some of us are empaths and you can become very depressed, right? Imagine that energy of like a ball of fire and it has nowhere to go. And you are probably, if you're still watching this far, 23 minutes, you're probably a kind person who doesn't want to project it on anyone else. And the most powerful skill I've learned is you can actually alchemize your anger and frustration. You can let it out in another way. And the answer to that is going to be up to you. How are you going to alchemize your anger, rage, and frustration? You might actually even feel it, or after this video or journaling session, you will feel it to your heart and your bones because the rage and frustration, you might have inherited that from your parents, your grandparents, or all the way back because of what your lineage has gone through. The anger and rage has a message. And now that you have the chance to reflect on it, how are you going to steward that energy, but release it in a way that's more alchemized? Alright, this is going to be our last one for this session. Write this with as much detail as possible, okay? What does a better world look like to you? What does a better world look like to you? Is that full of flowers? Is it warm? Is it on an island? Are you somewhere maybe in Europe or Southeast Asia? I don't know. You gotta really paint the picture of what a better world looks like to you, and what are people doing? What kind of conversations are they having? Maybe this is a world without exploitation, right? But yeah, what does a better world and a better life look like to you? Thank you for sitting with me through that. I've literally you've seen me witness creation of this workshop. And yeah, I'm gonna make slideshows for this. We're gonna do another part, but my current offering to you is you have stayed till the very end of this video for a reason. Maybe our ancestors have aligned us. And yeah, I would love to hear some of your responses to these prompts or realizations. If you could comment below, that would be incredible. And yeah, I'm just wishing you good luck. If you have learned anything from this video and want to continue learning from my videos, please like or subscribe, because I would love to have you in my community. In this community we are building together. Have a good day. Thank you.